Okay, this is a 2004 Toyota Corolla automatic, obviously, as we can see. This is to adjust the rear brakes, the parking brake lever. If you pull your lever and it's not engaging the brakes, the rear brakes within 6 to 9 clicks, then you need to adjust it. And this one is coming all the way up, and the brakes are just barely on in the back, so we got to take this cover off first from around the shift lever. That one just pops out pretty easily with a standard screwdriver, and then you can disconnect the cigarette lighter wiring from it there. And then you just have 4 Phillips screws here, 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 and up here. Take those 4 screws out. And then down in here, if you can see, maybe not. Anyway, at the bottom there, there's 2 10mm bolts. Take those out of this center console, and then you can lift this entire assembly out from around the parking brake handle to get at the adjusting nut, which you'll see in a second. Okay, now once you get those 2 bolts out from under here in the darkness down there, you can go ahead and this thing will just basically lift right out of here like this. You may have to lift the parking brake handle somewhat, and I'm just going to pause this so I can manhandle this out. And one other thing you have to do is disconnect this wiring harness there. That cable's held in by a fastener there, and once you pop it out, pop it down, and then it's just a simple click and release mechanism there. Alright, now we got the center console out, and here's the parking brake handle, and if you can see it, right here we have this shaft. Right here there's a lock nut and then an adjusting nut below it, right there. That's the one we want to adjust. So you'll loosen the locking nut, and then we'll tighten the adjusting nut, and that will pull this cable a little tighter here to take up the slack in the cable. And there, now you can see I have got 2 wrenches on there, one on each bolt. Or nut rather. You may need to hold that bottom one from moving while you loosen the lock nut, that's all. And if you release the parking brake handle, it's actually fairly easy just to tighten that adjusting nut with your fingers, and you can see the cable down here start to get a little tighter. You can feel the tension there. So it's getting a little tighter as I clockwise turn this adjusting nut. And last but not least, before you tighten down the lock nut, you want to make sure the cable is not too tight. Don't over tighten it, otherwise your rear brake pads, shoes rather, may drag a little bit. So you don't want it too tight. So you just want it to start actuating the brakes just a little bit into the movement there, and then the manual says 6 to 9 clicks should be enough to hold the vehicle on a hill or whatnot. So you don't want it too tight though. And that's it. That's how you adjust your parking brake on a 2004 Toyota Corolla. Once you got that lock nut tightened down you can go ahead and put your center console back in. Don't forget to connect the wiring harness there before you put your cigarette lighter and this little console back over your shifter. And that is all, folks.